are listening to DURB Radio. On the plains of Nandi Hills, the waters of Lake Victoria, DURB Radio, we are closing in. DURB Radio, on the know.
With just about 10 months to August 2022 general elections, the Electoral Commission in Kenya, the IEBC, is in a race to recruit about 6 million new voters across the country, as political parties too working overtime to get young people to register. In 2017, the IEBC noted that 51% of all registered voters in Kenya were under 35 years of age. This number is likely to go higher as more and more young people attain the voting age of 18 years and get their national card as they become eligible voters. In Kisumu alone, the Commission targets at least 120,000 new voters across the 7 constituencies, according to Mr. Patrick Odame, who is the Kisumu County Elections Manager.
So the drive will take 30 days from 4th of October. We are deploying 3 biometric voter registration kits per ward, and we have 35 wards. The kit will be opened to the county assembly ward, the 3 kits. There is another kit which will be dedicated at the constituency office. This will be opened to all the polling stations across the country. That means anybody from anywhere, especially in institutions of higher learning, they can be able to register without having to travel back to their place of residence or where they were born. There will also be another kit at Huduma Center, which will also be opened to all the registration centers across the country. According to 2019 census, Kisumu County has a population of 1,155,575. The registered voters who are in our register currently is 541,235. Our projection for the 2022 after this drive is 741,492. So our target is 124,159. In the past, some of these drives have been used for people to transfer from one place to another, such that the drive does not achieve what is intended. What is intended basically is to increase the number. But there will also be a window for people to transfer. However, this will be done at the constituency office.
In Seme Sub-County, Mr. Ken Ogutu is the Sub-County Coordinator, says they have registered quite a low number of new voters since 2018, something that he pens down on last-minute rush habit of Kenyans. What then guides the voting life of a youth?
Under Article 38 of the Constitution, every Kenyan has a political right to participate, to register, or to be a member of a political party. And this essentially it means participating in an electoral process where you elect leaders democratically, and the vehicle through which you do this is through voter registration. You must have a voter's card enshrined in law that you are given the ability to make a democratic choice of political candidate at constituency, let me say at ward, constituency, and finally at national level. So at county end. So in this case, the commission is mandated under Article 88 of the Constitution, Article 88 Sub-Article 4A, that we should be doing continuous voter registration. And in this case, we have been, what people wonder what the commission does always in the offices. We have what we call an electoral cycle, which has pre-election, election, and post-election phases. What we do majorly in this cycle is continuous voter registration. We have been doing this in our offices for the last 3 or so years, and people have been trickling in. Up to now, again, we should be having an enhanced continuous voter registration. And this is starting on 4th of October this year, all over the country, as you did say. Of course, the greatest target that we have, and about 95%, I dare say, would be youths, because these are fresh people who have gotten IDs either immediately or in the near past.
In a general perspective, what would you say stands an observation that should be done to enhance voter registration, as much as it is an enhanced process all through the cycle, but people still wait for the last time rush?
If youths are going to put in good leaders, especially as an electoral part of it, then we are going to have people who are responsive, apart from them being candidates. Being a candidate does not take you to parliament, but mobilization for voter registration and civic education on elections, or that kind of people to be elected, helps. And therefore, people do not know that it starts with being a voter, letting the next person being a voter, and all of us, when we are voters, then now we can converse around our issues. But youths are like, this time it is me. This time we are going to so-and-so. And so, what is the weapon? Handouts. And this is an impediment. If I heard you right, what is guarding or what is guiding, I don't know. An impediment to youth development is themselves, because people look at the end before they start. And the end is, I want to be, not how do I get there. So how I get there is get enlisted in the voters register, verify, assist others to do the same. Like now, we want to mobilize us thoroughly to comb all the wards that we have, and targets of 40, 33, 31 and 33 per day is not a walk in the park. We will need people who are out to help them to mobilize and to talk to people and to popularize this activity for the next 30 days. Now, we are also last timers. We want to run in.
But as the IBC and political parties go into overdrive to get the voters, the conversation in the communities in Kisumu are questioning the place of the youth in elections and why first-time voters should be cautious. Within the streets of Kisumu, I spoke to Mr. Stephen Okwan, who is the coordinator Talent Africa, where they use arts to engage communities in conversations. Mr. Stephen, what are the dangers facing this group of first-timers? They have the numbers, they have the ideas. Can they bank on their voice to be heard in politics?
What happens is the biggest percentage of young people in Kenya are not in decent livelihood. They're not in employment, so it's easier for them to be swayed by the listic population like Waheshimiwa. So what has really happened, which is the biggest danger, is that young people have been mobilized into political cocoons, into political camps that are not progressive, but rather that uses these voices, uses the energy of young people to really get into political kind of battles. Or we have the processes of murder, we have processes of radicalization. So that's the huge and the biggest danger that faces young people within the electioneering process. And me as a young person, I speak to that fact because working in the informal settlements, we've seen quite a number of young people currently not making political choices based on goodwill, but based on incentives. And politicians are currently giving incentives, buying votes, and we see buying young people into their camps. So that's the biggest insecurity we're looking into.
With the 2022 elections on the horizon, he regrets that for years young people have been mobilized to cause chaos instead of being involved in policy and leadership of political parties and in being supported by for electee posts across the country. But through investments in social change, the youths are now ready to take over. Mr. Steven, what then should a first-time voter understand on their responsibility, opportunity, or chance to make change?
One, we believe that anybody can contest, provided you have, of course, a degree. Then you can get, or you can vie for any political position. And I must speak this to young people that will only make the change that we want by being a part of the table, but are not spectators. So my encouragement will be, let's have many young people vying for these political positions, and then let's get the documentations required for one to be a voter, and let's practice the democratic responsibility of voting. Because if we don't vote, then we are deliberately allowing the historical injustices to just repeat themselves. So we are allowing the same people to come back into power and to use this power against us as young people. So let's get the documentations, let's make informed political choices, and let's get into the actual process of voting.
We have requirements for one to be a voter in Kenya. How big can you say is the population of those without even IDs or those who have not even ever voted?
Just like statistics speaks to it, by the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, young people in the last census make up to 70%. And out of this 70%, we have the youth within the election, within the voter age bracket being close to like 43%. Out of this 43%, close to like 17%, only 17% have IDs, have registered as voters. So this really means that the additional work to be done, because we are talking close to around a huge percentage of the young people within the age bracket of voting, not really having the document, not really knowing even the process that is required for one to be a voter.
But what do the young people think?
My name is Alberto Dida. I'm a youth, a Kenyan youth.
Yes.
And I have never voted. I have never thought that voting will bring something good for our society.
How?
I have never thought that by voting, our youth will find change. I have never thought that if I vote today, tomorrow we are going to have a president who is responsible. I have never thought that if I vote today, we are going to have an MCA or a minister or an MP who is responsible for its community. Reason is because each and every person who fight for these seats, even though they fight with their money, but whenever they are inside that parliament, they only fight for their stomach.
I am Violet Amimonyango. I'm a first-time voter, and I really can't wait to cast my vote come 2022 general elections. I'm very happy.
I don't think I'll vote because it seems politics is beyond us.
There you have it. If you are a first-time voter or you know of a first-time voter, there you have what you need to know. This feature has been brought to you by Cosmos Olondo.
DURB Radio on the know. You are listening to DURB Radio.